engineer of the greatest Stanley Cup party that we've ever seen and presentation, Reno Cerbone, owner and chef at Heritage Restaurant in Fort Lauderdale, where this was great. I'll let you tell the story.
So first off, good morning, you two fucking knuckleheads. Good morning, both of you. It's actually funny. He calls me up in the morning. He goes, hey, we're going to be in Fort Lauderdale today. He's like, would it be a chance that we can get to Heritage? Now listen to this. I actually told my brother, I'm like, fully booked tonight, guys. I'm like, I'm fully booked tonight.
You said I'm fully booked.
I'm kind of
fully booked.
Keep
so
your...
like, and he goes, oh man, he's like, all right, whatever. He's like, let me call you back. So Bill Zito's good friends with, there's another restaurant around town called Livia. They have a nice big outdoor space. I'll tell you what, go over there and I'll just stop by. I just want to see you and the family. And I had a little bit of time during my rush, and I just snuck over there because I just want to hang out with my family. And as we're there, me and Bill Zito are talking, and he goes, yeah, this is fun, right? Cheers, cheers, cheers. He goes, I was sure you have to bring this fucking thing to your place. And I was like, what? And I was like my brother, he's like, yeah. He's like, we're going to go. He's like, we're going to surprise you, but let's go. And I was like, fuck. So I run back over there, and I'm like, holy shit. First, I'm waiting for my brother, and I'm like, all right, I think I have a couple minutes. And as I'm like thinking I have a couple minutes, I see him walking right across the street with this fucking Stanley Cup. And sure enough, since people saw him, they were standing up, applauding. It was such a beautiful interaction between him and fans. People were going nuts.
Wow.
They didn't care. Let me say about the podcast. We were thinking about all kinds of things to do, but what we really wanted to do was the guy who watches the Stanley Cup.
Okay.
Sitting there, we're laughing about what we're going to do, and the guest goes, Reno, put pasta in it. Put pasta in it. And I was like, I know it's sterling silver. Can I put pasta in it? You know, I don't want to ruin it. They go, you do whatever you want today.
Wow.
Like, fuck it. We'll put bolognese in it. So we ate pasta and pizza off the Stanley Cup. Listen, everyone's drinking out of it. Everybody's doing shots out of it. Let's see pasta out of that bitch.
The time. Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
Very pleasant. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Defo Show. Jeff DeForest. We got Mike Lubitz with us. And yeah, I mean, we saw him yesterday. It was great. Roberto Luongo was part of the entourage that came in from the Panthers to Heritage as we were there with Mike Mayo's lunchbox. And now look at this bobblehead. I don't know if you can see it that clearly. I mean, we're talking about cameras and streaming and grainy shit. But nonetheless, could it be that Reno Cerbone actually stood in for Roberto Luongo when they modeled the face for this bobblehead?
Well, it's funny you say that because
he looked more like Reno than he does Luongo.
When they were standing next to each other, and again, they're brothers by Reno's sister.
Yeah, not by blood.
But Luongo is Italian in ancestry. They were standing next to each other, and I'm like, holy shit! They like look a lot alike. Like they actually have a very similar facial features.
Yes,
the same. And again, the kids. I guess Luongo had his two sons and daughter there, Reno's nephews and niece. They all, now again, we haven't seen his sister. They all very much look like Reno. So it was like, there's a lot of crossing over in the genes there because they look a lot alike. So it would actually make a lot of sense that the bobblehead could look like Luongo and also still look like Reno Cerbone.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of a resemblance of Luongo than the Marino bobblehead that we've shown in the past. Was it Dan Marino, where they made Marino a black guy? I mean, that just didn't make sense.
Make him look African-American.
I mean, I don't care what outpost of China this is being made in some sweatshop that Kathy Lee Gifford is running, and she's going to fill the order for the bobbleheads for the Dolphins giveaway day. But, I mean, it couldn't have gotten by any level of quality control where you make Marino's face that of a black man. This Luongo bobblehead is pretty good. Actually, the Panthers always did a good job with that, where they had a reasonable facsimile of what the guy looked like that they were portraying. It wasn't like when they unveiled. Isn't that awful when they unveil a bust at the Hall of Fame? They do the bust at the Football Hall of Fame, Canton, Ohio, and they take the thing off, and it doesn't look anything like the fucking guy.
Like they take they had braids when they were 24. So they'll put in braids, even though they haven't had enough hair for braids in like 20 years.
Yeah.
And the face will never look like, you're like, Who is that?
They're doing like Gail Sayers, and it looks like Ray Nitschke. I mean, it's like, does this guy only have one mold that he makes these busts from? Well, what the fuck is that? All right, good to be with you guys. And we were at Heritage yesterday, and you could see the residuals and the dividends being paid by becoming part of that iconic
Could you?
triple viral moment. No?
There was a buzz. I will give you that. The minute half the Panthers, actually, that might not be half the staff. They may now have like an NFL kind of staff. Where
that was like a 10-person staff that I think is all related to the goaltender. No wonder Bobrovsky's out of his mind.
Well, no wonder they're finally winning.
Yeah.
They
you
have
need that many coaches, though? I mean, if you're really good at something, Lubie, I mean, okay, it's great. You see tennis players, and they have coaches, and, they do fire them quite frequently. Or you'll have a guy, a hitting coach, and he's giving tips to Barry Bonds. But I mean, do you need 10 coaches to be a goaltender?
Probably not, but it shows a level of seriousness to me. Like, it shows that you're willing to put money into stuff that in the past they definitely wouldn't have. So
when you see Bobrovsky flopping like a flounder because some guy says your mother on those breakaways, I mean, are you thinking, wow, that really combined all of the expertise of the 10 coaches that are on the staff there and all of the video crew? No, it looks like some bum that's lost his balance and is about to get scored upon. No? But anyway, that was fun yesterday, and the food was great. It was always a good time there. What did we have? A little eggplant parmesan. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
That salad is among, and I'm a big fan of the sort of Sicilian type salad or whatever.
Yeah. They do it at Sicilian Oven. They do a really good job.
They do it many places, and you're finding. Well, one thing we're discovering from this show, although maybe not by design necessarily, because when Mayo's ordering, he seldom goes in this direction, except for that odd day. What is it? One out of every 90 or to 180 days, he says, okay, I'm going to start eating more healthy. My doctor looked at me cross-eyed.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're not. You're going to be Mayo.
You can do it.
You're going to go straight from, New York Prime and Boca and go have some of Tom Tennessini's Cajun food over there at Max's Grill.
Exactly.
Nobody else does that kind of doubleheader.
What do you mean?
He asked me if I want to go. I'm thinking I can't eat that much at that time of the night. I just can't.
I watch what to eat, and my cholesterol is still high. I'm like, I don't know what else to cut, but okay, I'll cut more things. And Mayo just pours it on. I'm like, okay.
He's young. All right. Let him get to 73, man. You won't be able to pull that shit anymore. All right. How long are you going to try to pull the wool over our eyes, Lubie? I mean, we talk about this a lot. We're probably the only ones bold enough to speak the truth about soccer. Almost everybody has caved in and just capitulated to the idea that, I better support this. People really like it. They had 80,000 fucking fools at the Meadowlands last night to watch a soccer game. Was that Messi? Where he got like a toenail on the ball by accident as he was falling down, and everybody's like, oh my God, how great is this? Sarni's texting me, he must have been watching the Panthers to get that tip. And no, the guy was falling on his ass. I mean, he was completely out of the play, and he's standing in front of the net, which is the size, as we say many times, of the Grand Canyon. And he happens to get a toenail on the ball, and everybody's talking about it like he's a second coming of Pele. Unbelievable. That particular play, which shows you how boring the fucking game is. It just is. I'm sorry. You can... People, this was the common argument, wasn't it, Lubie? But I think now that we've had the local run here, especially for the people that are followers of this show, are more or less, South Florida audience. I mean, you can't compare the two sports. None of people have seen, and people used to always throw that out, right? Well, Jesus, DeForest, you talk about hockey, but soccer, you're complaining there's no scoring. I don't care that there's no scoring. The game would suck if they scored 10 goals a game, wouldn't it? I mean, would it be any better? I mean, you would think that they would actually have more scoring just because of the nature, the geometry of it, right? Where the ball is round, just like it is in other sports, and the goal, you can't miss this thing. And somehow they managed to, like kick after kick.
Constantly.
I'm not saying it's easy. I wouldn't be any good at this game, so I'm not trying to say that any asshole could play it. Yeah,
but these are the best players. They miss the goal all the time. And I'm like, the goal's big as fuck. I'm like, and you're right there.
Ridiculous.
I hate that and the flopping are the two things. Like, well, in the off, I don't get offsides either. The offside thing, I don't.
Well, and on top of that, to play this stupid ass game, you have to be among the dirtiest, unconscionable, players that ever pulled off a cheap shot. In addition to the flopping, I mean, not only is the flopping absurd, but equally absurd on the other end of the spectrum is the fact that they're more than willing to go ahead and just elbow a guy in the teeth as he's innocently coming down the field,
Yes.
fully knowing that he's in range, and whatever you do when you throw this elbow, it's going to knock the guy's nose into another direction. It's going to end up looking like Larry fucking Zonka. It's insane, and then on top of that, look, we've seen this, and we were talking about this 30 for 30, which I think was one of the best ones.
It was great.
Did you ever see that dueling two Escobars?
Yeah. I watched a lot of the 30 for 30s were great. That's the one.
I've been watching some replays of them. Yes, they're extremely well done. Even the ones you thought were, maybe not the most moving, but still, they're extremely well done. These 30 for 30s. They had the one about the Catholics and the convicts the other day with Lou Holtz and Jimmy. It was fun to reminisce about that. It was a whole different time in the history of UM sports. Now nobody gives a fuck, right? Hurricanes are on the schedule. You're thinking, what do we have to do? Go up against Mario Cristobal? You think Mario Cristobal is a game day planner? Has Nick Saban losing any sleep? Can you imagine, Lubie? Saban's probably like smoking weed with his assistants. What do you think Cristobal is going to do to fuck this game up? There's no chess match involved there, just like there isn't any chess match involved in soccer. In fact, if they had two guys sitting at midfield playing chess, it would be more entertaining, wouldn't it?
I don't feel for
Should
soccer.
gig up Boris fucking Spassky and have him sit out there with Bobby Fischer. Wouldn't that be more entertaining? I mean, there still would be just as much chance of a fight. You will embrace it, Lubie.
Yes, I like that.
Oh my God! I mean, is it not for the criminally insane? Did you see this Uruguay Colombia thing? That's why I brought up the 30 for 30,
which is very interesting. I saw some of the England Netherlands match where England again, like in the last
a total fucking lockout, man.
Scores. It's like the third game they've done this.
And they moved the goal so that it would catch the corner of the net. Did you see that? There were two guys pushing the fucking goal. It wasn't big enough. This guy's over on the side of the field. They go 90 minutes without scoring a fucking goal, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it goes right in the net. Unbelievable. Evading the goaltender, who looked like, was that Bobrovsky? I mean, he was on his face on the ground in no position to make a stop on a shot that looked like it had no chance to go in.
No, it actually the angle, the defender had the perfect angle, but the goalie, that was very Bobrovsky-esque.
Yeah,
and he takes these fucking weird angles. You're like, dude, why would you duck when the puck's coming at your chest?
Entire countries are basing their mental well-being on the fact or whether or not their team is able to prevail in these meaningless tournaments. And then you get the other sidebar story, which, wow, I mean, was this bigger headlines than the action on the field? That Greg Berhalter, who I couldn't tell you much about, except that he has been the coach of the U.S. men's team. I think he was accorded 2 tenures as the coach of the U.S. men's team. Didn't he have the job and he left and then he came back?
I feel like they do that often where they give someone a chance, then they get rid of him. Like the Bruce Arenas dude, I feel like he was a coach like 4 times.
Yeah, that guy. He at least was a sort of a pleasant character, seemed to be.
Only had a little bit of winning. Like the Copa to lose to Panama and to have a tie to, I don't remember who the fuck they tied.
Thailand is beating you. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
That was bad. But yeah, but they were reporting it like it was big news. It was like the guy sucked.
I'm proud of the fact that we suck at soccer. I think it's a very, very flattering position for U.S. to be in. The U.S. to be in that we really suck at a game that is stupid to begin with. Unbelievable.
Of course, we would suck. It sucks.
But anyway, I mean, it struck me. I thought of this, and this would be something Andy would come up with. But the truth is that firing Berhalter or any coach of the U.S. men's team is like firing Red Klotz as the coach of the Washington Generals. I mean, the guy's in there. You know you're going to lose because we're lousy at this fucking thing. It's a setup, my friends. This is Jonte Porter saying, I ain't feeling so good tonight. Which, by the way, I mean, looks like the slammer for this guy, huh?
Yeah, he pled guilty, though, right? Like, that's what I thought.
Well, I mean, they had this guy on tape. I mean, it wasn't pleasant, right? When your lawyer comes back to you and says, the tapes aren't particularly favorable to us, we'll see if we can get them thrown out. But no, it was not good. Jonte Porter, he might end up doing like 4 years on this thing. They were talking about. Yeah, like 3-4 years in federal prison. But this was the typical story that people feared long ago, when it was really kind of a myth, like the Salem witch hunts and trials, where people would assume, oh, geez, well, what's going to happen when some athlete ends up with a big gambling debt? He's going to have to throw a game to make up for it. And there have been stories of that nature in the past. I mean, that would be the one underlying issue in that whole Pete Rose argument, where you thought, well, okay, maybe he was betting on the Reds to win or whatever, but there had to be a time where he was stuck 350,000, and he thought to himself, yeah, I can get out tonight, one game.
Especially if you're not throwing the game, right? You're just throwing
anything. Could be a prop,
or an inning. Like, you can, and now you can bet on anything.
No, you could do it. Yeah, back then probably it would have to be the entire game.
Well, I'm just saying the over under, right? Like, you could have been favored by
sure,
by a run. Like.
We always reference Pedro Borbon. No, literally, his arm hanging to the ground like an orangutan from pitching 9 innings a day before, and he bring him in the 10th inning of a ball game and let him line up the board there, so they'd eclipse the over. It was unbelievable. All right, for you trivia hounds out there, and we love you guys, and we appreciate that you followed us all over the globe, the Trivia Challenge. Will be contested today with one Dave Gurggles Gergely at the helm, and wow, there he is, Dave. And we've tested everything technically, and I believe now if you just start, sounding like a mime here, this is not going to be good. And the Polyman had one of his really inner darkest fears was fear of mimes. How are you, David? How you doing, my friend?
Doing fine. I've been riveted watching soccer the last few days. I love it.
That's a great word.
I mean, they end up beating the shit out of each other in the stands there, which is no surprise. We mentioned this 30 for 30, the two Escobars, where supposedly, and it turned out not to be true, but that they whacked that guy Escobar because he had an own goal for against Colombia while he was playing for the Colombian national team. And then we know what? How many stadiums have they torched? And I was talking on our earlier program, the morning briefing, about my trip to Colombia, where their guy won the fight that I was calling, and there was an overhanging balcony level. It looked very much like the Blue Horizon in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Where they had that overhanging thing, and the Olympic Auditorium was like this in LA. It's like a classic place, or set up for boxing, except for the fact that they had glass bottles that they were throwing down after their guy won on a bogus stoppage in the 11th round. Unbelievable. Imagine if he had lost, they would have set fire to the building. So very volatile to Colombian fans, but it was the Uruguayan team that I guess went into the stands because the Colombian fans were harassing supposedly their families. And that was over a 1-0 game in a meaningless tournament. Copa Americas, which Lubie says is like some minor league joke of a tournament.
Yeah, compared to the Euros.
Yeah.
Well, if I was to improve soccer, every 15 minutes, I'd stop for a one-person shootout. But the opposing team gets to pick the guy on the other team that has to kick it.
Okay, makes some sense.
Different.
Anything to liven it up. Like I said, I mean, they talk about it like when you start disparaging soccer to a real soccer fan, they will say, well, you know what you're missing there is what a chess match it actually is. And I said, I literally would rather watch a chess match. See two old geezers at some park in Hialeah going after each other than watch soccer go by. Now, what have you been up to, Dave Gurggles Gergely?
Just getting ready for opening day at Saratoga. As
Mateo
pointed out, we will be giving out a Perdomo Horse of the Day, and of course, our friend Frank Miramati's there. I will be there August 15th through 18th. I think.
Oh, beautiful!
Oh yeah, the annual trip. Can't miss it. It's the place to go.
Oh, very nice. And I remember being tempted many days during the summer when I was home from the Cuse there, thinking, man, maybe I'll drive up to Saratoga. And that was at a time where taking a 3-hour drive really was something that you would consider as not being that bad. Whereas now I don't even want to go past Sunrise Boulevard, to any locations here in South Florida. But yeah, and it's just beautiful. I've only been there one time for one day. In my entire life. That's hard to believe. I never actually could convince myself to go because back then you used to grab maybe 20, if you were really stepping it up, $40 to go to the track. So I kept thinking about what that 3-hour drive back would be like if I was, doing it with zero of my original bankroll.
Yeah, we've all done that.
Yeah, as painful as it was to go back home from Belmont or Aqueduct, I think that would have been almost unbearable. All right, yeah.
Not only have I been to Saratoga, I've been in the winner's circle there twice.
Oh yeah.
Neither time did I have anything to do with the horse. I just walked in, told the guys at Gulfstream, "Hey, after the 5th race, look for me." Walk in, "Hey, Uncle Joe, how are you?" Yeah, oh, yeah.
You're shaking hands with Chad Brown. Irad gives you the nod and the tip of the cap. It's good stuff. Well, I mean, there's money to be made. I saw they had 11 race card going today, and of course, as you mentioned, our good friend Frank Miramonte, who, wow, I mean, think about that. When I met Miramonte 30 years ago, he was calling stretch calls to Scorephone. And one of those 900 lines, and he was recreating the stretch calls as if he was Danny Baxter from Turfcraft back in the day in California. And you thought the chances, and then he still tells a story about how on the first day he was calling races at Hialeah, I came up there and the guy schwitzing through his shirt, and I'm very nervous about the whole thing. And he says, "Well, how am I doing?" I say, "Well, you better pick it up a little bit, Miramonte. Otherwise, this is going to be Joe Biden's debate." And he did, and he sustained himself through a lot of ups and downs in the business, but ended up not only being a caller at Saratoga, but was very much, you talk about, being under the microscope. You're replacing, I mean, not necessarily, I guess John Imbrial was calling Toga after Durkin, but I mean, everybody remembers the horse by the very same name, Durkin's Calls, and that's not an easy standard to live up to. And Monty knocked it out of the park last year, I thought.
Yeah, I told him how proud we were of him when I saw him last year. Some guy was telling him, "Hey, why don't you do Rodney? Why don't you do this?" And I go, "Frank, not at Saratoga. You're doing it exactly right."
I wouldn't mind if you threw some of that in there. You know what? Maybe they need to lighten up a little bit. He doesn't do that anymore, though. And it was kind of when he decided to call the races out of himself that he started to make the ascent. And then, of course, he had that bitter battle to get the job at Santa Anita with Michael Rona, who originally got the job. But he was the poor man's Trevor Denman, unfortunately. And so people really didn't like him. And Mighty got his shot there at Anita, and the rest is history. So that'll be something to look forward to today. I always enjoy that. But when you see, unlike the American tradition, we're rooting for our friends to do well.
Right. True.
Yeah, which is nice to see. All right, Gergs, so you're set up and ready to go for the trivia challenge. We haven't done this for a while, so it's 954-417-0070. You'll get in touch with Lubie by dialing that number, 954-417-0070. We have the Landlubber's gift certificate we're giving away as our top prize. And in all likelihood, Lubie might be able to give it to you in person tonight. Now, does that drop off at all in the summer, Lubie, or does that sustain itself, you and the professor, on a Thursday?
I don't want to jinx anything, but there's something different about the West and the East. I guess out West is the suburbs where people live year round, whereas out East, you guys do live year round, but you do get, like, people are traveling from up north. They're not coming to Plantation, coming to be by the water, I guess.
Yeah.
So where you guys have a season and we're actually busier now. Because,
good.
Yeah, this is when people are off school. And people travel, but it's not like we live in Connecticut where people are summering. Like it's fucking Sunrise and Plantation. Like people will take little vacays, but for the most part, when I drive around that area, which I do a lot, my parents still live over there, my sister lives over there. It feels busier now than other parts of the year. So yeah, we don't really fall off our crowd. I mean, around the 4th, before,
All right, well, that's understandable. Yeah. 4th of July, you actually did one, or did you take it off?
The 4th, because we're literally on the 4th, but like the week before, maybe the week after. But for the most part, we get really good crowds. These people love trivia, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's nice too. And in conjunction with the Mayo Lunchbox Show, it's good to have a restaurant like that, which is very unusual, where you can, not have to break the bank with the whole family, and yet you can find things that are, appeasing everybody and everybody's taste, right? I mean,
look, it's a very wide menu, and what's cool about it, and Gurg talks about the salmon rice bowl, which I would never even think to get to Landlubbers, but
salmon rice bowl, I'm not going to Landlubbers for, but you say it's excellent. Huh?
Of course, they do a good job. It's Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill, right? So they do really good fish. They do good seafood. But what's interesting, I love is I walk around because I'll like talk to the people. I'll collect sheets. I'll hand them out. And everyone has like, it's not like, and look, today's cheeseburger special day. In this day and age, when cheeseburger at McDonald's is $7, like you get a cheeseburger and fries, I think for like $9.50 or something like that. It's a pound burger of good meat where they cook it exactly. Like Ken will get it rare, and they'll cook it for you and not think twice about it.
Yeah.
You'll walk around and you'll see pasta dishes and you'll see chicken dishes and you'll see, it's like very interesting for like a bar and grill for you to see such a wide variety of food items, and no one bitches, no one's complaining. Like people are really happy. Like they do a good job, and I've been going there my whole life. You've been going there for years, and it's really cool to see how people take to not only the trivia but just Landlubbers itself. Like they always have a nice, consistent clientele, which is cool.
I have a visual always of us sitting in the corner there when we were doing that high school football show. And, with suspect equipment, you weren't sure if you were even going to get on the air. And, of course, the station could not be heard in the parking lot of Landlubbers or in its own parking lot, for that matter. And the nighttime signal, what was that, 1470?
Yeah, it was that end.
And we had that. Were you with me? I don't know if you were. We were working together then when George Smith came in that time.
Do the George Smith show now.
Oh, my God. You would have thought it was Lombardi, Gurggles. George Smith, the head coach, St. Thomas. And this guy came in, and rarely have I been forewarned. Lubie has witnessed this many times where the PR guy comes over and says, nothing about the rape case, okay?
Thank you.
And they tell you before, and you weren't going to ask, the guy about this anyway, embarrass the guy like that. But, so the guy comes over, one of the alumni crew comes over as George Smith is coming in and says, don't mention the word recruiting. Here comes Smith with like two guys he just got from Latvia and somewhere in the south of France coming in to play for him.
The thing is, they would always get like the Miami schools will get guys from like northern Miami. He would get guys from Russia or Poland.
It was great, but never have I seen. I mean, an air. I guess what would it be? A sanctimony that this guy was held in regard that he was held in by the many legions of fans of St. Thomas. And why is that, Gurggles? Because they won every fucking game. That's the reason. All right, we're going to come back. Maybe you can win a game. The Trivia Challenge. Dial us up if you want to play. 954-417-0070. 954-417-0070 if you'd like to join us here on the phone lines. Those coaches shows were always weird to do. In general, that wasn't a coach's show, but I'll never forget with Dennis Erickson. They kept bringing like a styrofoam cup with like a smorgasbord of drinks. I mean, the guy would start with like a margarita and have a red wine, like a bizarre combination of drinks. And as he was getting progressively more inebriated while we were doing the show, they were still trying to disguise the fact that he was guzzling alcohol for the entire hour. It's like, who doesn't see through this? You got to be kidding me. All right, back with Dave Gurggles Gergely in the Trivia Challenge in a moment. On that.
The time.
Oh, God. Can we get a chant going? Oh, God. It's 8:34. Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in Plantation, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Are you looking to buy your first home?
Have you been turned down for a loan? Do you need to refinance or get money out of your home? Call Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. He's been helping the South Florida community get mortgages for 30 years.
Hi, this is Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. We have the most competitive fixed rates in the market. Call me 24/7, 561-441-2730. And remember, I don't just work banking hours. Make the right choice for your home. Call Choice Mortgage today.
Oh, Solo Volante will be coming late. Oh, Solo Volante, the Belmont's now a mile and an eighth. The finish line is coming up quick. Luca Panici, just switch the stick.
The only way to get your morning started is by Lubie, right here on the Defo Show.
Sounded like Gurggles was in a rear naked choke during the break there. You okay, Gurggles? Okay. All right, we got Dave Gurggles Gergely with us, we hope. Pulling a Mama Cass there. She's come up frequently since we were trying to figure out what was the biggest choke of all time when the Panthers had lost those 3 straight in the Stanley Cup Final Series. All right, ready for the Trivia Challenge, 954-417-0070. If you'd like to join us here on the phone lines, 954-417-0070. I'm wondering, and this would be great if somehow among our contestants today was the great Sheldon G., who has to be probably up very early handicapping Saratoga. I'm sure he's loving that out there in Las Vegas, but we want to find out if he hasn't melted away. 118 degrees in Las Vegas yesterday. 118.
That's crazy.
That's like a bowling score for a 9-year-old, isn't it? 118.
I would be happy to 118.
Yeah. You would take 118 as your cholesterol level, maybe, but I don't know about as a temperature when you're walking around on the streets. All right, we're ready to go here with Dave Gurggles Gergely for the Landlubber's gift certificate, and we'll start the game in the traditional fashion with Dave for the Polyman and some
Easy Baseball. This comedian and longtime TV host of a game show, upon learning that Leo Durocher was leading the New York Giants, quipped, "Yes, and so is everyone else in the National League." What's that? Groucho Marx, Harpo Marx, Chico Marx, Zeppo Marx, or Gummo Marx?
Let's roll the random phone scrambler here. And our first player today is going to be Ron. You're on the Trivia Challenge. Good morning, Ron.
Good morning, fellas. Let's go with A.
Hit it right on the money. Over/under number of wins at Saratoga by Luca Panici would be a half. What do you think? Does he win a race up there somehow?
It's all time.
I went there when I went there last year. My favorite rider, Jimmy Graham, came up for one mount.
You love this man.
We sit ourselves right outside the jocks room. When he came out, I went and got a picture taken with him. I said, "Jimmy, I've come all the way from Dublin. Will you take a photo with me?" Went 30 across on him. He ran 4th. Yeah.
Oh, geez. Wow. Now represented, I believe, by the great Doug Bradar, husband of Caton Bradar.
He's representing Jimmy Graham?
I think so. I think he has Jimmy
good.
Graham and one other guy. After
Giroux.
after
Giroux
he got dumped by Giroux, and a really brutal departure. And he has Jimmy Graham and somebody else. I'll figure it out by the time the show ends. I hope. Prevagen, nurse. All right, you have 1 point, Ron, going for 2.
All right, Ron, stick. True or false? That's right. I almost skipped that one.
True or false? True or false?
All right, Ron, golf. Believe it or not, the company called Super Stroke Golf Grips have come out with something new. Golf club grips featuring, excuse me, marble superheroes. True or false?
All right.
Let's go true.
I'm going to say true. Yeah.
Spider-Man, the Hulk, and Iron Man on your grips you can get right now.
Good job, Ron.
Very good. All right, 2 for 2, Ron. Going for 5.
All right, baseball. Yankee slugger Aaron Judge had 15 game-winning hits before the All-Star game, joining 3 others who had a 16-game winning hits before the All-Star game. Which of the following was not one of those 3? George Foster, Eddie Murray, Willie Stargell, or Manny Ramirez?
Oh, boy. Let's go Willie Stargell.
Yes.
Wow.
I would never.
Wow.
That's a good guess there.
Jeez, it's good for you.
Is it that Bachiza? Is that how you pronounce his name? The other jockey that Doug Brainerd would have? Alex Bachiza, is that the guy?
Bachiza, yeah, from England. He's a good rider. Yep.
I think he might have him, but I can't be sure about that. Everything is, just falling into a Joe Biden state of confusion on the left side of my brain. All right, looking for the sweep to start us out, Ronnie. That's a pretty tough go for the competitors out there.
Tennis, Ronnie. We got Wimbledon going on right now. Andre Agassi won just one Wimbledon singles title in the 90s when he defeated Patrick Rafter, Mark Philippoussis, Ivanovic, or Drayden Van Dyke.
Who was the third guy?
Goran Ivanisevic.
Boy, you picked a polyman bunch of names there.
Goran Ivanisevic.
Yeah, very nice. All right, what do you think, Ron?
I'm sorry, can you repeat those? Repeat those one more time.
Repeat them backwards.
Screw you. All right, no. Patrick Rafter.
Yeah.
Mark
Philippoussis.
It's Rafter, Mark Philippoussis, Goran
Ivanovic, or Drayden Van Dyke.
Drayden Van Dyke.
Let's go. Let's go Philippoussis.
The Australian stud. It wasn't Drayden Van Dyke, the jockey.
Right.
It could have been Goran.
I think it was Ivanisevic.
Patrick Rafter.
Oh, Rafter. Okay.
Yeah.
I beat Rafter.
Well, all right. Good job there, Ron. 5 points to start us out, and you were right there banging on the door of gaining the sweep to start things off and make it very difficult to keep you out of the finals. But you're still right there with a legitimate shot. 954-417-0070 on the phone lines. 954-417-0070 if you'd like to play the game. We got Lubie with the Landlubber's gift certificate. And Dave Gurggles Gergely, no doubt. I mean, I can see you. Will you be at your familiar haunt there? At Nando's bar. I don't know. Is Nando there in the summertime? And
I think he won't be there today because they're not live racing. But where I'll have my Perdomo cigars, when I go up to Saratoga, I'll bring a couple with me. We'll be staying on a lake in Bern, New York with a boat and everything. In the evening, to smoke a cigar on the deck. And when I go to Saratoga, right outside the jocks room, we'll have our chairs there watching the TVs and smoking a nice Perdomo cigar. You don't have to go to Saratoga. You don't have to go anywhere except 5150 Northwest 167th Street, right off the Palmetto, just a little bit east of Home Depot on the south side, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. to see the big Perdomo cigar sign, or come out here to play golf at Miami Lakes Golf Club. We sell Perdomo cigars right in our pro shop. So today, tomorrow, whenever you like, you want a great cigar, the Lot 23, my new favorite as far as mild cigars go. The 20th anniversary is a pretty good Robusto cigar with a Maduro wrapper, a little for stronger people. And today, with the opening of Saratoga, we're going to give you a Perdomo horse.
All right.
One of the fine workers here at Miami Lakes Golf Club is a guy named Rocco, who is like a Swiss Army knife. He does everything. I told him, hey, there's a horse running today at the first race called Rocco Strong with Kendrick Carmouche. And that's not an accident. So today, Rocco Strong makes a winner's circle, put something great in your mouth with a cigar from Perdomo Cigars.
Nice.
Well, we're on the same page because when I was handicapping on the toilet this morning, I was trying to figure out how am I going to hit a early pick 5 here and incorporate a couple of Saratoga Bomberuskis and the 8-ball there with Carmouche. Rocco Strong.
Right.
Was my horse of choice. Now, does that jinx the whole concept of the Perdomo horse? No. I was taking a shit at the time. I mean, I hate to be overwhelmingly graphic, and I have no other information except like the last 3 finishes, which this horse has been doing all right.
Yeah,
Rocco Strong. No, not that great. Right? Oh, unbelievable. But listed at 4-1 among the choices in the early going there at Saratoga. It's always good to hit the first race at a meet, isn't it, girls? I mean, is it an omen if you have your horse run like a non-menacing 6th, as is the custom for my handicapping strategies? There he is. He's mid-pack. Ah, fuck. All right, let's get into our next set of questions here. Dave Gurggles Gergely.
All right, football. This Tampa Bay Bucs coach, trying to cheer his team up after another tough loss, said, listen, I told my team it doesn't matter. There are 750 million people in China who don't even know this game was played. What do you know? The next day, a guy called me from China and asked, "Hey, what happened, Coach?" Was that our guy, John McKay, Jim McKay, Gardner McKay, or Gardner Dickinson?
Lubie with the scrambler, please.
Mark,
All right, we're close to it. Look at that. Out of nowhere, Lenny the Chronic. Lenny, you're on the Trivia Challenge. Good morning, sir.
How you doing, guys?
Good morning, Lenny.
We're all right, Lenny. How are you?
Good morning, Lenny.
Come back, hello, guys.
All right.
Well, Lenny, don't you spend time at Saratoga? Don't you have some like luxurious pad up there that you end up snoring your way into?
Yeah, you know what they do? They rent their house for that time. They do Airbnb, and then they just move to a hotel for a little while.
Nice.
Bundle. So we'll go up there later, and after geez, we went one year. You try again. We'll be up there. It's Gurggles Town.
Yeah, you mentioned Gurggles anywhere, and you know what? They'll say, "Who the fuck is that?" No, they say,
That's right.
"Wow, you know Gurggles? Unbelievable." All right, you have 1 point, Lenny. You're in the game.
All right, baseball, Lenny. True or false? Believe it or not, in a recent interview with the New York Post, Yankee slugger Ben Rice said that in the 5th grade, he actually wanted to grow up to be a chef. True or false?
Why not? True.
True? No,
He
you
said
made
he
it
was
up.
a class clown and he wanted to grow up to be a comedian.
That's right. Very nice.
Oh, God.
1 going for 4. I mean, it's typical trend of the game there. I mean, you're what? Out of 400 true-false questions over the years, you probably whiffed on 398. That's good.
Exactly. Yeah.
1 going for 4 here.
Terrible.
All right, baseball, Lenny. The All-Star Game's coming up. The All-Star MVP award was first awarded in 1962, and Maury Wills won it. Who was the first pitcher to be named MVP in an All-Star game?
Interesting.
What's that? Sandy Koufax, Frank Larry, Don Drysdale, or Juan Marichal?
Wow.
I'm sorry. I didn't catch the beginning. What was it? First?
What's that?
What was the question?
First pitcher to be named MVP of an All-Star game.
No, I didn't catch the names.
Oh, here we go.
I only heard Marisol.
Mark Philippoussis. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's the wrong question. Here we go. Was it Sandy Koufax, Frank Larry, Don Drysdale, or Juan Marichal?
Hey, gotta go with Sandy, right?
It's got to be the random.
Had to be
Sandy
Frank
Koufax?
Larry, yeah.
It's
No?
got to be the random guy.
Juan Marichal, 1965.
Marichal.
Oh, it's actually someone.
that's my second.
Yeah, I was never going to.
It's hard to be the MVP of an All-Star game as a pitcher because you're usually only out there at most 2 innings.
Right.
I guess what? They used to start, the
Actually,
starter used to go 3.
Back in the day, they probably were
Back
pitching.
then, they gave him a little more leeway, I think.
Did he strike out some ridiculous number of, insane Hall of Famers in a row, Marichal, in that game? I think he may have. Yeah.
4 in a row. It was like fucking.
I
nuts.
think so, yep.
All right, Lenny, on the cusp of elimination here. You're like Tiger Woods trying to make the cut. A veteran player, but, maybe, I don't know. We don't want to think that. I don't think you've lost anything off your fastball. So here's your 5-point question.
All right, Lenny, let's stick with tennis. Novak Djokovic won his first singles title at Wimbledon when he defeated
Ooh.
Andy Murray, Rafael Nadal, Tomas Bedrick, or Jose Trijos.
Oh Jesus! No idea.
Wow. I'm gonna go with let me think. I don't know. Let's go Federer.
Roger.
The Federer in there?
Was that even one
No,
of the?
it wasn't even one of the choices. So
Oh,
it's
no,
interesting if he was the
no,
answer. This is like a Jaybird question from back in the day where
Let's go Nadal.
Rafa.
It was Nadal.
Whoa!
Oh,
Talk about pulling it out of your ass.
You should have taken Federer. Though. Yeah, that was one of the choices.
Who is the last guy? Is that the conga player in the Tito Puente Jr. band?
It's an upcoming rider that rides pretty good at Gulfstream.
Okay, all right. It seemed unlikely.
the last two.
Pancho Segura would have been a more likely choice. All right, Lenny's got 6. Ron has 5. Lenny ends up on the top spot here, and we're going to continue with the trivia challenge. You can dial us up if you'd like to play, 954-417-0070, 417-0070 if you'd like to join us here and play the game. We got the Landlubber's gift certificate. Try and squeeze in another player or two before we get to the final round here, which right now would feature Lenny as the number 1 seed. And Ron drafting right in there behind him with 5 points. Still, even if it's a response on the chat line, we'd like to know that our good friend, our dear friend, Sheldon G, big fan of all of our shows,
be sleeping,
is alive.
I called him the last time, and he was like literally sleeping, and he played. I'm like, oh, shit, I forgot it's Vegas.
All right, let's at least get in one more before we go to the finals here. Next set of questions, the great Dave Gurggles Gergely.
All right, perfect for this guy. Horse racing. This blonde bombshell and comedic actress on the strength of a thoroughbred once said, a racehorse is so strong an animal, it can take 10,000 people for a ride at the same time. What's that? Mae West, Adam West, Mike Westhoff, or Gary Bergdorf?
All right, and this is always encouraging as we roll the scrambler, and all signs are pointing towards Andy. Good to know that Andy is with us. How are you, Andy?
Still alive. Was at Tom T's the other night. His food was good. I saw Mayo and Val. Everything's good.
Now, did Mayo eat again? That's the question.
No, but he drank.
Oh, okay, because he had just left like a giant buffet at New York Prime, which I'm sure you've been to. Yeah.
I think something happened. The food didn't get served.
Oh, he may not have eaten at that other thing. Remember, he was bitching about it.
Yeah, he was complaining.
Delayed. Yeah, there was something happened over there. But, it was good seeing him. I didn't expect to see him there. I brought a couple
good.
Over there. They were very impressed with Tom T. He had a great turnout.
Tom T's nice.
Yeah, food's great, man. I mean, it really is like bringing Bourbon Street. I wish you would find something that would be successful for him on a permanent basis. Because, that was a tough draw there where he was at this place in Boca and it seemed to be doing well. Yeah. Then all of a sudden the guy went out of business, which is afflicting a lot of people in all businesses, but especially the restaurant.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, you have 1 point, Andy. You're in the game.
Right, I'll go with A. I'll go with Mae West on that one. I think that's Mae West.
Are you a fan of New Orleans food, Gurggles? Have you been? Are you a fan of New Orleans food?
Cajun.
No. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
I see Gurggles as much more of a conventional diner. Yeah. Okay.
I like
1 point, Andy, going for 2.
The salmon and rice teriyaki bowl at Landlubbers.
There you go.
All right, here we go. Tennis, Andy, true or false? Maria Sharapova holds the record for the loudest grunts on the court at Wimbledon, recorded at 101.2 decibels. That's roughly the same noise level as a 747 taking off.
Jesus.
True or false?
I go with false. Wasn't it Celis who had the big grunts?
Celis was big too.
It's true. It's Sharapova.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Serena will grunt like a fucking.
Wow.
And Celis, he's right.
You should have heard her grunting. You should have heard Sharapova grunting when I took her out.
That wasn't grump. That was vomit. Okay. All right. Baseball.
Well, when she's playing, though, if you aren't watching, you're just like listening. It did sound like you were listening, to Debbie Does Dallas. It was crazy. All right. You have what? Well, 1 going for 4.
All right. Baseball. There's a good one. Recently released Marlin Tim Anderson had 20 hits during the month of June. They were all singles, and he did not have a single walk. Who was the last player in baseball history to have 20 hits in a month without an extra base hit and have no walks?
Wow.
Was
Bud
that
Harrelson,
Ray Euler, Bobby Wine, Ivy Wingo, or Felix Celia?
Oh, Jesus.
Are those all baseball players, Gurggles, or did you throw some jockeys in?
Did anyone?
Euler hit like 160. Bobby Wine, these are guys at baseball. Bobby Wine was the Phillies. He hit like 180. I'll go with Ray Euler.
I'm going to go Bobby Wine because Ray Euler. No, who was it?
Neither of them. It was. You have to go all the way back to the 1930 St. Louis Cardinals. No relation to Hawthorne. Ivy Wingo did that.
Oh, good.
And
I think
Felix
I was there
Celia,
that they broke the streak.
Felix Celia is the guy who played Cousin It on the Addams Family.
That D choice has been very suspect all day long, Gurggles. Very suspect.
All right.
Going for 6 points here, Andy, and a tie for the lead.
All right, baseball.
I'll be the time. All right.
From 1959 to 61, and Jeff probably remembers this.
Yeah.
They played 2 All-Star games each year.
Yes, I do remember that.
3 players in their career hit 2 home runs in the years of multiple games. So they hit 1 in each game.
Oh,
Which
okay.
of the following was not one of those 3?
All right.
Okay, so 3 did it. Which one didn't? Al Kaline, Eddie Matthews, Rocky Colavito, or Frank Malzone?
Wow, I would have thrown Yogi in there. No, really, I would have.
Frank Malzone's the obvious guy, but it can't be him. I'll go with Rocky Colavito.
Colavito.
Nope,
No,
Frank
he didn't.
Malzone, the Red Sox slugger, only hit 1.
It was Frank Malzone?
Yeah.
Oh. All right, very good, Andy. Good try.
Hopefully I'll see you
All right,
later.
guys.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Hey, Andy, stay well.
And we're going to pair up Ron and Lenny for another classic edition of the championship round of the Trivia Challenge here. Gurggles is going to tell us about Perdomo cigars, which we're big champions of the Nick Perdomo brand, which really, I mean, how many years? This guy's been doing this for a long time now. It seems like go back 40 years.
30, I'd say.
Yeah.
He left his lucrative job as an air traffic controller, went into the family business, which was started back in Cuba. I went to see him last week, and the whole shop was unloading a tractor trailer of new cigars that had just come in, Cuban seed tobacco grown in Nicaragua. You don't have to go to the Maldives to enjoy one like I did. You can get them right at 5150 Northwest 167th Street, right off the Palmetto, 305-627-6700, the number to call. Or stop by, even if you're not going to play golf, stop by, pick up a Perdomo cigar right here. But I'd rather have you pick up a cigar and then play golf, too. You can go online at www.perdomocigars.com to find their menu of great cigars and also to find a retailer near you if you want to get one on a Saturday or Sunday. And by the way, today is also opening day for Colonial Downs.
All right. Yeah.
In New Kent, Virginia.
You love that place for wagering.
10 horse field. 10 horse card. 3 of them are jumpers.
Oh, Jesus.
How about that?
I don't get involved with the jumpers. It's complicated enough if they're just running. All of a sudden, we don't need Edwin Moses out there. I mean, please.
Usually the jumpers.
When he jumps over the hurdle and then you land in the puddle. Did the guy ever clear the water in that steeplechase thing? Never, right? They all land in the puddle. I mean, so why don't they just shorten that up by a foot? So I'll give the guy a chance. All right. But Colonial Downs, spectacular payoffs usually. I mean, nothing but bombs. It's bombs away bombsy at Colonial Downs. All right. We're ready for the finals, Lubie. We have Lenny and we have Ron. Gurggles, you guys know the rules, but we're obligated to go ahead and repeat them here and put them out in public. So, Gurggles is going to fire off a question. Call out your name if you want to answer right away. Nobody does that. We offer multiple choice. First person to call out his name gets first chance. We go back and forth until we have a winner. Protect yourself at all times. And in the immortal words of the late, great Mills Lane, let's get it on. Here's Dave Gurggles Gergely.
In honor of Jeff and Mike's discussion before this, we're going to throw soccer out the window and not use it. All right.
Beautiful, yeah.
Your bonus question is in baseball.
Name a game that was invented by Cro-Magnon Man at a time. No, go ahead.
The late Willie Mays hit 3 All-Star game home runs during his career.
Wow.
2 of them were off Whitey Ford. The other one came off.
Oh, wow, what a question.
Good one.
All right, here are the
What's
choices.
that? Bill Monbouquet, Dean Chance, Frank Larry, or Milt Pappas?
Wow. Anybody? Clearly a guess.
I'm going first.
Oh, Lenny trying to wait it out, man.
Yeah.
You know what? Time limit. We're going to have to force Lenny to go first. Lenny.
I'm going to go with Dean Chance.
Dean Chance.
No.
Who, believe it or not, I got to know a little bit, and he was sort of like Biden-esque at the time, it seemed, because he became a commissioner of his own boxing organization. He did, yeah. It was like the IBC or something, and often was seen in the ring handing out this bogus intercontinental belt or whatever, I think that he had gotten from some cheesy Midwest wrestling circuit. And Dean Chance was actually a commissioner of his own boxing organization. So, and we remember, didn't he have like a no-hitter or a perfect game or something? That made him famous.
He might have had a no-hitter.
Yeah.
Bo Belinsky's the one that had a no-hitter too. with the Angels.
Yeah. All right. So it wasn't Dean Chance,
No.
right?
Chance, no.
Okay.
Ron,
So we have
was it
3 left for Ron.
Bill Monbouquet, Frank Larry, or Milt Pappas?
Let's go Milt Pappas.
Pappas.
I was going to say.
Yes.
Milt Pappas.
Nice.
Yeah, the
Don't you
Orioles-
get the feeling that Ron kind of knew this all along, and he just let Lenny walk in there and suckered him into putting all his money in the pot?
Flail around.
Very good.
All right, nice strategy there, Ron.
See you guys later tonight. Thanks.
We pulled a rule on Lenny, eliminated him from the competition essentially, and he wasn't able. Did you catch that though? And he was going to wait out Ron.
Sure, Lenny does that all the time.
Yeah, he loves that fifth.
Had the same strategy.
Ron pulled
Yeah,
the
they're
Lenny.
both waiting
Yeah.
there. Like, what the fuck? We got to get this show over. All right, Gurggles, I know you got to run. What do you have going today? Any golfer beat the broadcaster thing coming
Today
up?
we're just the course is in great shape. We will probably be remodeling end of the year. We'll update you on all that. Go on
Nice.
out and play. With that cloud and that haze, it's really not unbearable.
It's not so hot.
Oh, no, it hasn't been too bad. I mean, Schwitz City,
Come
though.
on out and play. We got plenty of water on the course. Perdomo, we got some ice cold beer in the pro
Nice.
shop as well. And then this afternoon, I might be listening to the dulcet tones of our buddy Frank Miramotti.
I would imagine you'll be there by post time for the first race, which shall be very appropriate. And
Rocco
good,
Strong.
why not? You deserve it. Late in life, you got to enjoy yourself. That's for sure. Did they have any temporary greens there? That was always, a nuisance, wasn't it, Lubie? I used to play golf courses that were so badly taken care of that all of the greens were considered temporary.
I don't know what that is. I've never seen
Remember, there was like crabgrass. There was no way you could make a fucking putt, even if you were like, on the lip of the hole.
I don't know what
It's a lot of fun being with you guys today. Thanks so much for being with us. Lubie, fine job as always. We will be at Batch Southern Kitchen later on today.
Mayo went there. He didn't eat again, supposedly, but on his way home, he stopped there to talk to Brandon and have a drink, is what he told me yesterday. So I don't know what that means for what we're going to eat today.
Stuff there is always good, man. They surprisingly have a wide variety of stuff, and it's all good.
Yeah. And then when
It's
they
another one of those places like that. Yeah.
Well, it's Southern, so they do have heavier things, but they always look out, especially being summer, for lighter items and lighter fare, which is really cool. You do a good job with that, too.
Was that the place we had the redfish thing?
I literally want that because, again, with the way I'm trying to eat, so I don't have to take stupid pills. I just want to fix my shit on my own.
Low cholesterol.
I'm a lot more fish. I'm trying to eat a lot more fish and
drink more beer. You'll be better off.
That's so good.
I think that's what's keeping me alive. That
there you go.
Ice cold Budweiser after the walk of life. All right, Libby, always a lot of fun. I'll see you at 1 o'clock today, right here, South Florida Live. Let's Eat South Florida page is probably where the show is more commonly viewed. Let's Eat South Florida. You should definitely become a member on Facebook, and you'll be, you'll be among the majority, that's for sure. Let's hope Biden can carry Broward County to the extreme that Let's Eat South Florida is with 155,000 subscribers?
I think got up to 160,000 last week.
It's pretty incredible. How many people are there? I mean, what's the entire population?
We're in the millions. I mean,
yeah, okay, all right.
I mean, South Florida. Remember, again, in South Florida, they have people from West Palm, Miami.
I love on that page when Mayo gets snarky with somebody who's made a comment that is contrary to his belief about a particular place, and just he hammers the guy, man, with like words that you have to go to with thesaurus to figure out what the fuck did he just insult me? I don't know. What is strident? Something happened to that guy on the way to this position, that's for sure. All right, we'll see you there. We'll have some fun. It's always good eating there. You know what's weird is rarely would I crave biscuits.
No, that's the thing.
It would be the last thing I would ever order, especially as you're talking about with diet related to health.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna. You have to get the biscuits. I feel like that's just an automatic.
If they bring them, I'm in.
Well, I order them automatic. It's just
it's kind of like really good cornbread, but these biscuits are.
They're nuts.
They definitely are the all-star of biscuits that I've had here in South Florida. That's for sure. All right, we'll see you then. Thanks so much, Lubie. Always a pleasure. You guys have a good time, and catch you later on. Thanks for tuning in to the Trivia Challenge. We'll have a Degenerate Friday, a Professor, and a Big Boy tomorrow. So we'll see you then as we leave you know that.
The time.
It's 9:04.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.